Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I am excited to share with you some insight about AI technology, specifically by an industry expert himself. A prestigious bronze medal holder for scoring the third highest marks in his batch, Zia Ahmed is a highly skilled professional in computer science, data science, and web development. Zia is also a trainer of one of our upcoming 40-hour summer boot camps, Introduction to AI. I hope listening to his diverse professional background and his experiences will inspire you to learn more about artificial intelligence. Hello, Zia. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Lourdes. Thanks for having me.
Well, it is so lovely to have you join us. Just so the listeners know, where are you joining us from today?
Today, I am in my hometown, Lahore, to celebrate an annual event with my family. And from 8th July, when we'll be starting this batch officially, perhaps I'll be traveling somewhere in the mountains.
Oh,
That is something I love about this profession. You can be anywhere. All you need is a laptop and a good internet connection. So
oh, that's
I love
amazing.
traveling.
That sounds wonderful. So the students will get kind of a glimpse of the mountains as well as you're teaching.
Perhaps if you guys will allow me to vlog the mountains.
Yes, absolutely. That sounds amazing. So,
Yeah.
Zia, as you know, AI is just on the rise and it's so versatile. I'd like to know your opinion on why you think we should pay close attention to this evolving technology.
As you mentioned, Lourdes, it is a versatile field. It is such a sauce that you can add to every dish. It is such a sauce. B, it is coming from, you're coming from a medical background, you're coming from a commerce background, you're coming from any background. AI is there in almost every field to help you out, to help you in making better decisions. AI is why AI is on the rise, because if you look back in 1950s, why there was not AI was there, theory was there. It was there in late 1950s or 60s, perhaps 70s, but practical implementation was not there. Two things were lacking: very good and fast machines that were there in, as you say, 1980s or 90s, and then the data was not there. So when the mobile phone cameras became very common, and personal computer becomes very common, yeah, I mean, this universe is now flooded with the immense amount of data. Even just you talk about YouTube, there are hundreds and of hours of videos are being uploaded in just a minute.
Yes.
So there is an immense amount of data is coming, but so we don't know what to do with this data. So someone came up with the idea, let's make this data useful, and let's make decisions.
Right.
How do we make decisions? We utilize the past data that is there in the mind somewhere, in the back of mind, and when some new scenario comes in, we utilize that past data that we have there in the mind, that we call experience. So we utilize our experience, our past data, to make future decisions. So this is the crux of AI that I just defined, and you can say 10, 20 seconds. So AI is making use of data, and data is everywhere. Even a shopkeeper notes the data, not on the notepad, but now in the maybe in Microsoft Excel or some files. So
Mhm.
data is there. So if data is here, and in my book, perhaps data is arguably the best decision maker. You cannot question the integrity of the decisions of the data. Perhaps you can question the integrity of the data itself, but not its decision making ability. So data is there to help you out. That is why it is on such a rise. There is a lot of data, good machines are there, and it is helping everyone in their field. Everyone. Nowadays, cryptocurrency is on the rise. It is helping people in making trading bots. And you just name a profession, AI is there.
Right. That's right. That's so true. It's like AI is everywhere if you think about it, right? So that's a great explanation. So Zia, how did your journey as a data analyst begin? Were you always this curious?
I think it just happened. It was
Okay.
like I was going with the flow, because it is not very ancient field. It is not something that a lot of people would nowadays. A lot of people are guiding you to become a data analyst or maybe a data scientist, but at our times, there was not a lot of knowledge, especially when I was doing bachelor's. I knew I'm good at programming. I knew that I can write good codes. So I knew that I'm going to end up becoming a web developer or a mobile developer or something like that. And I ended up becoming a web developer. I started my first job as a web developer. But while doing web development, I was dealing with large data sets. I was storing those data sets, and I was showing those data sets in sort of a dashboard, uh, dashboard things from which the CEOs can get insights. Okay, so this thing is doing good, and this thing is doing bad. At that time, I was reading a lot of stuff as well, and now I'm connecting the dots. I'm doing web development, and I'm showing some data to get insights, fetch insights from the data. And I figured that I'm already doing a job of data analyst. So then I officially switched my gears. I did not leave my job as a web developer until I was comfortable with this data analyst thing. So I started the journey of a data scientist or AI expert. And my first step was data analysis, because data analysis is almost everywhere. Even someone is not a programmer, he's also doing data analysis, right? In the mind, they are doing data analysis. So that was the first step, and that has to be the first step, I believe. And then I started learning about those programming languages that are more into data science or data analysis, like Python, R. And then you can say I became addicted, and that's how this journey started.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love hearing that. That's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to switch gears here from your professional life for a moment. What was a childhood dream of yours in the sense of a career or a goal or a difference that you wanted to make? And were you able to achieve it?
I think, like every kid, I wanted to become a fighter pilot when I was
Oh,
so young.
nice. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I asked my fellows as well, and everyone wanted to become a fighter pilot. So I think, I don't know why, but it is a dream of almost every kid. But
Wow.
later on, when I started driving a car, I figured that no, that's not gonna happen, because I cannot even drive a car at more than 60 miles per hour. It's gonna be a
It's
horrible idea.
less intense driving a car for sure. Oh, that's such a
Yeah,
good dream, though. So,
yeah.
have you ever done anything towards that? Got a pilot license or any steps towards it for fun?
No, I think that idea faded so quickly, and yeah, it went away so quickly. And then, uh, in this era, if let's talk about 17th century. So if someone's father is a farmer, the kid is also going to be the farmer. He's going to learn the art from the father,
Very true.
because
Hmm.
the environment was not evolving. But nowadays, environment is not evolving in 100 years. It's not evolving in 50. It's not evolving in 20. It is evolving, you can say, in 5 years. If you are doing an X job in 5 years, there is no guarantee that you're gonna do the same jobs in the 5 years as well, and forget about the
Yeah.
kids.
Hmm.
So um, so yeah, I moved on from my childhood romance very quickly. And and then there were several other romances as well. And I was in the university, I had absolutely no idea where it's going. As I mentioned, I was good at programming, so I knew, and I was enjoying programming. Yes, I was loving programming. So I knew I'm going to do a job that is related to programming. So I wrote my first script. And I had a friend who was doing an internship, and his job was to to look at the data at a website and then write down that data in Microsoft Excel file. So
Oh,
I
wow.
basically automated his job. And I wrote my first probably Python script by using it's called web scraping. So his job became automated, and he completed his internship without doing his work,
Oh,
and he was very
wow.
thankful. So
Yes.
that was the
Oh,
point. That was the point when I fell in love with this automation thing. So I always wanted to join the programming skills with automation thing, and finally I fell in love with AI. Yeah, I built my first model that basically automated the process of decision makings, and then the journey never ended.
Yes. No, that's so wonderful. That's amazing how you helped your friend, and that I know that took away hours of hard work that he would have to put in. So that was such a good, step forward for him. I'm sure. I'm sure he's very grateful for that.
Wasn't for free. He
Yeah.
treated me in McDonald's.
Oh,
No free lunch.
yeah. No, that's the best. That's the best treat, right?
Yeah.
So, do you have any fun or inspiring stories that you would like to share about your school days that perhaps others, our listeners, can relate to? These are moments that motivated you, to keep pursuing your dreams and never stopping.
Well, thinking about school days, bring only one thing into mind, that the we used to bunk the classes. I'm sure audience is not gonna love that.
No, we don't want to encourage
Bad thing. No one should do. But one thing that I can relate is that really motivated me to become an instructor. Obviously, everyone lands a job as a data analyst, as a data scientist, but why I become an instructor, and I'm still doing that by my choice. So in the university, I was good at programming, as I mentioned. So before um, the season starts, you can say before the fall or uh, the summer, I used to complete the whole syllabus of the programming course by looking at the videos or different stuff. By somehow I used to do that because I used to love programming. Okay, now my all friends, the group of uh, the backbenchers, they used to hate programming. They never, none of them loved
Did they
programming.
hire you?
Indirectly, yes. Indirectly.
Oh, wow.
So they used to I mean, we used to bunk the classes, but I knew programming, so I knew I'm gonna get good grades in programming subjects, and this was considered as the toughest course in the whole degree. I don't know why. I was good at it. So okay, my friends are calling me one night before exam. Okay, come to that XYZ place,
Oh,
and it
wow.
has to be a place where we can dine in. So okay, so there in one night or maybe two nights, I'm teaching them whole syllabus that
Oh,
the
my
teacher has
goodness.
taught us in maybe 4 months. So basically, and I'm receiving a lot of appreciation, and none of my friends got, you can say, failed in the programming exams. I
Of
know
course.
none of them got A grade as well, but they never failed as well. So
Yes.
this actually motivated me. Okay, so I can translate um, complex concepts into easier ones if people like my friends are perceiving it, and they are doing good in exam. So yes, I perhaps I have this ability. And then I started teaching as a teaching assistant. I received a lot of appreciation, but I never wanted to do that traditional teaching thing. And then
Mm.
COVID happened. During COVID, I started teaching online, and yeah, I figured this is something that can break the boundaries. I am teaching to people who are living in Africa, in Europe, or even I don't know where.
Yes.
So this thing actually inspired me. Moreover, I wanted to stay in touch with this teaching thing because this would help me staying in touch with new trends as well. In industry, we just implement the existing trends in different ways. But when you're teaching, you have to learn new trends, because if there are maybe 20 students in the class, you never know who is going to ask what question. So
Yes.
you have to be there in the field. So this is something that really helped me out.
No, that's great. And especially because they're from different parts of the world and their understanding levels and all of that, like, to be able to break it down is phenomenal. So that's a skill. That's a really good skill to have. So, Zia, on this podcast, we focus on mindset and getting to a point in life where you are constantly evolving as a person, be it in your personal or professional life. So, what type of mindset do you feel that is important to have as someone in the technological field? And how do you think that applies in how you conduct your personal life?
I think that's a right question to a wrong person. It's a very philosophical question. Perhaps I'm not good someone that you should ask me this question. However, let me try. So I
Okay.
think two things that really helped at least me out. And I'm answering this question in my personal capacity. So one thing is the fear, and second thing is the motivation. Fear of constantly evolving evolution of the technologies. I have seen a lot of people around me. You must have also seen a lot of people around you who are jobless because of
Yeah,
the advancement of technologies. For example, let me
unfortunately.
just give you an example.
Mhm.
If driverless cars became, you can say, they go to every country, right? They, so all the drivers would be jobless. And I don't know the figures, how many drivers are there, but just think about the
Mhm.
Middle Eastern world. From third world countries, millions of people are going to this Middle Eastern part of the country just to become drivers. They are gonna become jobless. So the fear of this evolution of technology, that it will not leave me behind. So I try to evolve myself continuously. This is one thing. I believe fear is also a form of motivation, if you want to convert it into a form of motivation. So perhaps this is one thing. And secondly, if we come to motivation part, there are maybe two main things. You have to tell yourself that you are hungry and you're foolish. So hunger has to be there, hunger of knowledge has to be there, in order to fetch something out of maybe a book is going to be there, it's just a piece of text. But if you're not hungry, you're not going to read it. Now
Mhm.
the hunger has take the horse to the water. Now what makes this horse a horse drink this water? That is, I think, this foolishness. If you already know, okay, whoever has written this book, I know better than him, then perhaps even after reading the book, you're not gonna get much out of it. So you have to be
Right.
foolish, mentally foolish, that I don't know absolutely nothing. Now if you have already read this book, even if you've read this book, you're gonna get a lot out of it, with this foolish mindset, I don't know nothing. So I'll try my best to fetch a lot out of it. And if you're maybe if we're now, this is not an era of perhaps books or articles, this is an era of videos or interactive teaching and stuff like that. That is a plus point. If you act like a foolish, you can ask a lot of questions. And
Mhm.
perhaps a good instructor would never discourage even foolish questions as well. So I
Yes.
think these two things, the fear factor and the motivation factor, and in motivation factor, that there should be this mindset of hunger and foolishness. It really helps.
That's a great analogy, because you should always evolve and not be a know-it-all, and oh, I know everything, and so I don't need to continue to expand my knowledge, or kind of be a little humble approach is how you should approach your learning, and even just in your personal life. I think that is so important to keep that in the forefront of your mind. Now, you're also one of the trainers of our boot camps, Introduction to AI. What would you like listeners to know in terms of what they can expect, especially since there is a hands on learning portion to this as well?
Yeah, we designed this course very carefully. This AI boot camp, not a course, it's a boot camp. We designed this course very carefully because we encounter, even I was on a flight, so someone was asking me. I told him that I'm a data scientist, so the first question he is asking, will robots take over the human being? I mean, that this is kind of a question that I
Yes.
came across at very first instance. So basically, to answer these kind of questions, if a layman, if I call these people non-technical people, perhaps they are technical in their own fields, but if we talk about AI or data science, they're those non-technical people. They don't know nothing about AI, so they keep making these hypothetical scenarios in the mind. What is this AI thing, this ghost AI? So whether something that is that has been shown in the Terminator movie, it's going to happen or not, or things like that. So this course is going to answer this thing. Not only that, this is not or going to be a storytelling thing, or maybe merely a theoretical course, there the more than 60% part of this course is going to be a hands-on practice. So you're not merely going to listen to the beautiful stories. You're going to implement every theoretical thing that you will learn inside this course. Obviously, this is a 40-hour course. You're not going to build Teslas or maybe these kind of state of the art artificial intelligence agents. But one thing is for sure, after attending this boot camp, you will have enough idea that what is AI, and you will be able to implement the basic models of AI. You'll be able to you'll be able to extract the max out of your data, uh, be this data from medical field, if this data is from commerce field, from financial background, whatever. You can fetch different inferences and insights from the data
Mhm.
after this 40-hour course.
That is wonderful. That's excellent. Yes, I know that the listeners now kind of get a glimpse of what to expect. And so hopefully, we'll get some questions about that you can answer at a future time. So, Zia, you had mentioned that you're always in the pursuit of learning. So, what doors, what opportunities has this opened up because of that?
Well, this interaction thing, whether it is interaction with the students, interaction with the colleagues, it really helped me a lot. For example, I was teaching somewhere, and a student came to me and he wanted to he had this beautiful idea of automation. He wanted to automate the data annotation process. So let me briefly define what it is. So for example, in machine learning or deep learning, you need labeled data. So he wanted to automate this labeling process. So if there is an image of roads, and you want to tag, you want to draw a box around a car, and you want to mention that this is car, or maybe this is truck, maybe this is motorbike. This is called data annotation or data labeling or data tagging, whatever. So basically you can say this is oxygen, this data labeling is oxygen to AI models.
Hmm.
Everyone is spending a lot of time on building AI models, but no one is worried about building the data. We have the data, but data is not tagged, data is not labeled. And how this data is being labeled, even nowadays, uh, companies have this manual people who are tagging the data manually, which is so expensive. Obviously, if you have maybe I worked on a project where they had um, a billion images, and they wanted to tag these 1 billion images manually. When they drafted its budget, it was worth their whole company. So
Oh my goodness.
so this now put this discussion on the shelf. Now this student came to me, he said, I want to automate this data annotation um, process. And I said, what ideas do you have? He had a few ideas, I gave a few of mine, and we ended up developing, you can say, developing an app, or maybe developing a pipeline that consisted of AI as well, and it ensured the integrity of data annotation rules as well, and that ultimately ended up saving 70% data annotation cost of a company. Now imagine, this company had $3 million of a budget for merely data annotation. Now
Oh
just
my God.
count how much this 70% of a budget is.
Yes.
So, so
Wow,
I
that's
never
very.
had this idea. I was
Mhm.
in contact with this student, I was in contact with this company. So I just merged these two things. So this company was happily there to pay $3 million for just data annotation.
Yes.
And in pursuit of learning, I really love to interact with people. And moreover, as I mentioned earlier as well, one thing that I really love about this job, you can work from anywhere. um,
Right.
I a few months back I was taking classes by sitting at the beach. A
Oh,
few months later I'll be taking classes by somewhere in the mountains.
yes.
So this is for a traveler, that is amazing thing.
Yes. Oh gosh, that's so fascinating. I love that kind of like a digital nomad life that you are living.
Yeah. And there's a lot of countries now. Let me turn myself into a traveling agent as well. A lot of countries, since I travel, so I know this thing. A lot of countries have disclosed or maybe created this thing called digital nomad visa. So they give visas to the freelancers who work remotely, and they can live in a lot of European countries. I don't know about Americas, but European countries have this thing. They can live in these countries for maybe up to 5 years as a digital nomad. So it is, this term is officially accepted now.
Yes, that is that's a huge scope. You can go anywhere. You said
Anyway.
Europe, you said a couple of other countries. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. So, with the crystal ball that you have, what do you think that the future of artificial intelligence looks like? And what are some innovative technological advancements that we should anticipate in the next decade or so?
Well, if you're asking something about future, you should ask this thing to AI. Perhaps I'm not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so true.
Go
Yes.
go ask AI what you're gonna do in next 10 years. Well, it is really difficult to anticipate different things by having AI in hand, because it is really not controllable. Scientists are able to build the models. Models are working, but people don't know why it is how it is working. This how thing has not been answered yet, which is alarming as well. So
Mm,
uh, I think this is one of the things on which scientists will work most in upcoming time, and officially it is called XAI, explainable AI. AI is there, but it is not explainable. If your AI agent is making different decisions, this AI agent is not accountable of telling anyone why I'm making these decisions, whether these are good or bad decisions. So I think there would be a lot of work that will be done in the field of explainable AI things. Apart
mm.
from that, GANs is another thing that is called generative adversarial networks, that has taken the current era by storm, I think. Um, eh, for example, now what are the GANs? Sorry for speaking these technical things. So
No.
basically, you can just type in text, um, and you can say AI, okay, make an image in which there will be a cat sitting at the beach having a view of desert or something like that.
Right, right.
So just type in, and it will make a picture out of it.
Okay.
AI will make a picture out of it. And it is also working in 3D technologies as well. For example, you can ask, talking about the film industry. Maybe a director wants a hero or heroine in the movie who have XYZ features. They should have tall height. They should have these things, and he or she is not getting the perfect person for that perfect role.
Right.
He can ask AI to build a 3D model that would exactly look like human, and I need these many features in it.
Okay.
And when you have a 3D model, it would exactly look like a human, and it would
Mm,
act like a human. Even nowadays, you can find a lot of videos on YouTube, but you can figure that these are AI based videos if you technically know a few things about AI. But someone who is technically not very sound, they will not be able to configure that if these are AI made videos or what. So even nowadays, this thing is happening, and in the upcoming days, I think people will be doing a lot of work on it. And this is
mhm.
sort of, you can say, dark side as well, because people will be able to mimic other people as well. It has happened to, I believe, if I'm not wrong, to Russia. So they
Mhm.
basically recorded a fake message of Russian president, and they released it
Oh my
over the
God.
social media, and a lot of people actually believed it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think a lot of work would happen in GANs as well. A lot of work has already been done in medical field, and let me tell you, AI is work. I think arguably, AI is doing its best work in medical field in saving lives. In medical fields, there will be a lot of advancements there and whatnot, reinforcement learning, driverless cars, or whatnot.
Yeah.
You never know.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask you as a follow-up question in terms of the risks involved, that we should be kind of attentive to as either someone who is, like you said, a listener on social media and the various ways that they can mimic. And I know that there are also other things that have happened where callers will call random individuals and act like a family member because they have the voice, they have all the details that they need. And so there are, of course, with anything, there's pros and cons. And with advanced technology like this, it's there's that's going to exist. So any thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, obviously, when something comes there to help you out, there are dark sides as well, and this is something that really put this world in danger, as well as Elon Musk says that if AI war starts, the new people will forget about nuclear wars. So I'm just quoting him. These are not my remarks. So, uh, and as I mentioned, people are mostly working in bigger labs, in labs like MIT or Stanford. People are working on XAI nowadays because they now acknowledge this thing. If
Mhm.
AI is not explainable, we never know how it is making these decisions. Then it will not be controllable. And there were some rumors that that are believable. You can say in 2019 there was this rumor that OpenAI has built an AI agent that can write a content of your desire, and that they never released it. They said, okay, if we will release it, people may, and it is so accurate that if someone says, okay, tell me how can I make a nuclear bomb, it will help you out.
Oh my
So it can go into the bad
goodness.
hands. So they never released it, and then the even there was a story on BBC as well that it is just a fake thing and stuff like that. And now they have released this chat GPT,
Yes.
um, that is helping everyone out. And they claimed it in 2019 as well that we will release something controlled, something limited. And here it is. You can ask anything to ChatGPT, it will respond,
Hmm.
but you cannot ask some certain questions that it should not answer. So
Right.
this is something. This is, you can say,
Mhm.
a case study that AI is there, but it is controlled. um, what do you think if someone asks some bad questions to ChatGPT? It cannot answer. It surely can answer, but it is controlled. So this is
Mhm.
something. Advancement will never hurt anyone. People say AI will make us jobless. No, I don't think so. It will
That's
make
true.
certain people
Even.
jobless, but it
Mhm.
will also give a lot of people jobs as well. There was a time of radio, and a lot of radio maintenance people were there in the market because people believed it is the hottest thing. And then the TV comes into play, and radio people became jobless, but the TV people, they got the jobs. So I think it will just be a job shift, not joblessness, I believe.
Mhm.
So the only fear that I believe is there as a fear is explainability, accountability. So that should be there.
That's a common misconception, and I'm glad you brought that up because I mean, anytime we hear more and more in terms of AI in our society, we hear about how, oh, it's going to take all these jobs and we won't have our economy, etc. Blah blah blah. And it's like it's really interesting because it's actually not removing; it's increasing the jobs. So that's amazing.
And moreover, look, talking about ChatGPT, it came as a topic. For
Mhm.
example, as I mentioned, after 5 years, jobs are being changed nowadays. This is a complete case study. 5 or maybe 10 years ago, this was one of the hottest fields, that you can become a content writer, or
Yes.
you can be a support person to some website. Now here we
Right.
go. You can ask ChatGPT to write any content,
Yes.
and you can have chatbots that can act as an agents of any company. You can make use of Agent GPT as well.
Yeah.
So if you can evolve yourself with the passage of time, I think then you should not be fearful of the technological evolution. You cannot control it. You can
Right.
obviously cannot control this evolution, but keep yourself updated.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of content around, it removes the man work, all the hours of work that we have to put in terms of building our brands, our channels, or if you have to provide certain specific content. Like, you're right, you put it into chat GPT, and it, it gives you everything that you practically need, and you just keep revising the question here and there, and then it'll continue to create an article of information. So no, that's a great point.
Moreover, talking about Google Translate, people really don't appreciate it that much.
Yes.
But as a traveler, you don't have to hire any
Yes.
local. If you're there, let's say in a country like maybe Thailand, people don't speak English that much over there. So I was in Thailand a few months back, and Chat GPT, sorry, this Google Translate, it really helped me a lot, and it was so accurate. A few years back, I was there in some other countries, in some other country, and it really didn't help me that much. It wasn't that accurate. But see, with the passage of time, with the
Yes.
with more data, it has evolved itself. The model has evolved itself, and now I believe it actually worked 99% accurately.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it was digesting different accents as well, the Thai accents, the English accent. So I'm really amazed with the passage of time. It also evolved. The models are also evolving themselves.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's amazing that it's able to do that. I haven't used Google Translate in a while. So I bet when I used it, I was very frustrated trying to. I'm sure, like you said, it's evolved so much. So that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zia, what is your hope for the next generation?
Next generation. Do I look that old? I am
Yeah.
next generation, I
No,
believe. Well, well, as I mentioned earlier as well, we should not be worried about 50 years from now. It will
no.
be very difficult to predict the 50 years or maybe 20 years. We should be thinking about 5 years, not 50 years. Um, so if we think about 5 years, I believe a lot of technologies that are considered to be the immortal technologies, I think those technologies would be replaced. I cannot name, obviously, I cannot count those technologies, but be
Mhm.
it web technologies, be it mobile technologies, a lot of different jobs would be shifted, obviously. So what is my advice? As I mentioned earlier as well, the only advice I can give you, you can keep yourself updated, and it is not the matter of your field. So one could have an excuse that I belong to this XYZ field. That is
Yes.
not a programming field.
Hmm.
Nowadays, you can the internet is your best teacher. It is it does not has to be a physical thing. You can go over internet, you can learn anything you want. So it really about it is really about the hunger. So keep yourself updated. If you're a medical doctor, even if you're a doctor, look, this AI thing is performing better than doctors in diagnosis. Let me tell
Um,
you, and there are different proven competitions. In
mm,
2011, 12 years from now, there was an IBM agent who beated doctors in a competition in diagnosis of different diseases. So if nowadays, this doctor field is considered as, you can say, untouchable field, but I
yes.
think this field would be affected by AI. So
Mm,
even medical doctors should keep themselves up to date. And it would also be a good thing. Look, in Africa, there are not a lot of doctors. Those countries are not very developed countries. But someone sitting in Europe, sitting in Americas, is treating
mhm.
people in Africa. That's a
Wow.
beautiful thing. That is
Just to think about that for a moment, that's
exactly.
wild. Oh,
And that
yeah.
is happening. That is happening to some extent. A lot of eye related diseases are being cured
Yes.
via AI. And even doctors are not needed over there. AI can write you a prescription as well. But obviously
Mhm.
AI is not that much mature that people would believe in AI. So first of all, AI would generate a prescription, and then a doctor will validate it,
Mhm.
obviously.
Yes.
So get yourself updated.
Yes. No, that's true. You have to continuously evolve. That's what we talk about all the time as well. So, absolutely. And lastly, just for fun, if you could choose any superpower, what would you choose? So, I'm sure you've watched Marvel movies, right? And all these superpowers that you see, right? Or are you a Marvel fan,
Um,
Zia?
I can only answer your question if you promise that my wife is not going to watch this interview, because
Oh
she is a Marvel fan. I am not,
no.
and
Oh,
that's a long life debate. And I've still got a lot of years to fight on this topic.
oh my gosh. How do you
So no,
survive not watching Marvel? I don't understand.
I don't know. Maybe I'm more into the realistic thing. I watch more of biographies. I know I cannot fly. I know I cannot wear my underwear on my pants. I know that I should not do that. So, that thing, the Marvel thing, really
Too
feels
fake.
unrealistic. Yeah, exactly. Too fake to me.
Right.
Once I watched a Marvel movie, a half movie, I struggled a lot to convince myself that okay, what it is. So, however, um, I'm more into the biographies, but I surely want to mention this thing. I've watched a movie called Her, Her. It's an old movie, I believe. And when I watched that movie, I was in high school. Maybe I had no idea of AI, so
Mhm.
there was a good movie. So yeah, I watched that complete movie, but I was 100% convinced that something that has been shown in this movie is not going to happen, never going to happen. So basically, in that movie, there was an AI that was talking to a person, and person fell in love with that AI.
Oh, no.
AI, what should we say, the virtual AI thing that was talking to that person, and he fell in love just like two human beings fall in love. So
Mhm.
and now with the passage of time, you can see Google Assist, you can see Siri, you can see Chat GPT.
Wow.
It's not that real as it was shown in that movie, but it's going that way. So maybe the introverts who don't want to talk to a lot of people, they can have this superpower of not talking to people but still talking to people.
That's true. Honestly, a lot of introverts out there, so I'm sure they relate to that. So, Zia, thank you so much for being here today. It was such a pleasure to have you join us. And I know that, I was inspired, so I know that our listeners were inspired as well.
My pleasure, Lotus. It was fun being over here, and I'm looking forward to the data camp, the boot camp.
Yes,
Sorry, data.
yes,
I
absolutely.
mixed this data science and boot camp thing. So boot
No,
camp.
that's okay. That's totally fine. So I know the information that you provided gives us a fresh perspective to someone who doesn't know much about artificial intelligence, because you talked a lot about that, as a non-IT person, how to view this. And so I really appreciate you, taking the time to explain that really well. Now, if anyone would like to register for the boot camp, it'll be held on Saturday, July 8th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Please go to www.thecanadiancollege.ca/bootcamps and click on Introduction to AI. So you still have time to register for the early bird pricing, which saves you about $300 Canadian. So don't wait. And of course, if you have any questions at all about this episode, any questions for Zia, please email us at study@thecanadiancollege.ca and we will clarify that for you. Thank you again, Zia, for being here today. I wish you the very best on your wonderful journey. And until we meet again, everyone, stay safe, positive, and healthy.